jazz program in the country, and that was led by Joe Baudo. I couldn't be more proud to be here. Now, music is not, as I said, it's not my profession. I start companies, and nowadays I spend most of my time, helping little kids learn how to play lacrosse. But I'm thrilled to be here. David Limina and I, who happens to be my brother-in-law, we've talked about this night for the last 10 or 15 years, and usually it starts by me saying, what I wouldn't give to be able to have one more Monday night, 7 till 9 p.m. to get together with some of the people that I still consider to be my best friends in life, and have just one more crack at playing. And so this is it, this weekend. A lot of us have bucket lists, and this was definitely Joe on my bucket list. I'm thrilled that it happened. Lots of great memories, lots of great friends. I mean, when I first saw the list that Billy had assembled of people that were coming, I said, shit, there's 100 people that are coming. And even more, I said, and every single one of my football and wrestling coaches are coming. I said, do these guys really like to drink together, or they really like Joe? and I guess in the end, I cried out of it that it's a little bit of both, Joe. Okay. You've read the testimonies to the impact that you've had, and I'll be glad to share a few memories. But thank you for giving me the chance to just share some of my thoughts. I have a few. Perhaps they're simple and pedantic, but they're mine, and I'm glad to at least share them while I have the stage. I remember my first night at jazz band, a Monday night in September in 1974. I didn't really know why I signed up for stage band. I think my mom did it for me. I didn't really know what the hell a stage band was, but I showed up. I sat next to some interesting people. I sat next to Bikash Chatterjee. I sat next to Paul Kennedy. All of a sudden, there was a chart thrown in front of us. Sammy Nestico's "Have a Nice Day." Didn't know what was going to happen. We started to play, and about 15 bars into it, I was hooked. I was just like, this is great. I said, we can play this is fun, this is cool. I don't care what stage band means, I'm going to keep doing this. And I did it for 4 years. That same year, Paul Woes did a composition of what was a pretty popular tune at the time, Chuck Man Jones' Hill with the Lord Hides. And we played that, and Paul was the soloist, and he did a great job. And we played it for the student assembly at the Christmas, pre-Christmas get-together. We were really good. I mean, from students who were fairly, disinterested in anything having to do with the band, we got a standing ovation. And I was like, holy shit, we can be good. We're not just band geeks. We can make music that our peers really, really like. And that stuck with me for a long time. Third thought, 1976, the first Western New York Jazz Festival. Where, and Joe won't really confess to this, but I still say that the 1976 jazz band was the best jazz band of all time. Okay. Come on, guys, who are there, stand and cheer, please. But I remember the look on George Beck's face when it was announced that we won it. He was a really unhappy camper because he spent most of the week on his Jazz Nightly show talking about how Wheatfield was going to kick our butt. And it was real clear that we were the best program in the Bay Area in our first year. And that was amazing. I was like, hey, we can really be good at this. I don't know why. There's just this cluster of incredible jazz talent that's come out of the school, and I don't have an explanation for it other than that guy right there. We're not a big fancy private school. It's just, and we showed it from the beginning. And when people talk about where I went to high school, the thing I always talk about is this incredible jazz program and the fact that it just happened. And I was glad to be a part of it. My last memory is a series of memories, all the great concerts and trips that we took. We were a simple band. I think our fee at the time was $25, which was what it took to get us a pizza party at the local restaurant here on Niagara Falls Boulevard. We had lots of great concerts at the Boulevard Mall, M&T Bank. My uncle Butch and my mom were two of our best groupies. They'd follow us everywhere. They're both here tonight, which I'm thrilled that they could join us. Even such pedantic things as the Willow Ridge Summer Block Party were a whole hell of a lot of fun because we got fed right there. We didn't have to wait till the end of the gig to get fed. And our trip to Washington. You know, we're not like you younger kids that, got taken to Europe and all these fancy places. We had to earn our supper. We were the ones that invented the TV raffle. That's how we earned enough money to get to DC. And yeah, no, we didn't go to Wales or France or China or wherever else you guys went. We were happy just to get in the bus and eat McDonald's for 4 days straight. They did a movie about that called Super Size Me, and let me tell you, eating it for 4 days is just as bad as eating it for 30 days. But we had a great time. So, it's real obvious, Joe. You had, an extraordinary number of great musicians and music educators. Only some of them are here, which are here tonight. You may be just another kid from the West Side, but the impact that the people that you've touched have had goes across the Northeast, the United States, and the world. Everywhere I go, I run into one of your students, and it's not deliberate. I like that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not running away, but I'm not a musician. So I got some stories. So in 1983, I was dating this girl. She's not my wife of 30 years, but she came out to visit me in California. I lived in Southern California, and we went to Disneyland. She doesn't like amusement parks, and so I was trying to humor her. I heard a jazz band in the distance, somebody playing Woodchopper's Ball, and I said to her, oh, gee, that might be the Woody Herman band. And she looked at me and she goes, how do you know? She didn't think my credentials in jazz were all that great. And so I said, Ken, I know jazz. So we kind of walked over in that direction and looked up, and what do you know? It was the Woody Herman band. I looked and I said, Dave, how you doing? It was Dave Radcliffe. And he raised his hand and said, hey, Bill, how you doing? I looked at my wife just with this smug look on my face. And I said, I'm a jazz man. A few years after that, I went to an Al Jarreau concert, and kicking off for Al Jarreau was Take Six, and there was this kid named Claude McKnight who was like the fourth trombone player in our section, and I was like, oh my God, can he sing? Thank God he dropped the trombone. And it just keeps going. I listened to internet radio a few years ago, and all of a sudden there's this Polish name that pops up on the screen, Jack Prawilski. Yeah, that's there. And if you spend any time at all reading the jazz publications, or looking at who's who, in the Boston or the Western New York area, I mean, you'll have heard of Vandy Wansler or David Lamina. I mean, if you watched David play last night, he sat down after he played and he said, I just played for 3 hours. I was like, wow. Yeah, no wonder he gets called by everybody in the Boston area to play there. And there's probably tons of people that, I'm sorry if I didn't mention your name. I mean, I don't know everybody, and the number of people that have come out of this program has been great. And it's not just the performers, it's also the music educators. I mean, you read a list of the number of people that have been influenced by him. My sister Amy is one of them. She, music educators are the ones that, like Joe, tirelessly work in the background, to make music great wherever it happens to be, not just in Sweden, but wherever it happens to be. And I have a lot of respect for them as well. So, summarize. Joe, you did what great teachers do. It's real simple. You have to inspire us to be passionate, to work hard, and to achieve. That's what it's all about, okay? You let us play. We had a lot of fun. You told us when we sucked. And so we got better. We had no problem with that. I mean, he was about the easiest guy to talk to, but he was about the toughest guy on the planet. I mean, he just looked at you stink. And I go, okay. Yeah, it was one other teacher complained about our jazz tone, but I learned not to listen to him. Music could be fun. That's what I learned. I'm not a musician. I've gone off in my star companies, but music could be fun. It could be exciting. It could be cool. We could be great at it. And what you've done here is absolutely something that's worth celebrating, and I salute you for it. So. For me, I love jazz. I'm not very good. I'm better than I was this morning. My wife was convinced I was going to make a fool of myself, and she spent the whole last 2 weeks demanding that I practice. But I did get a can of Slidewell, so that made things easy. But more importantly, you've created a fabulous community of musicians and, equally importantly, friends. Okay, You know, I couldn't be more proud to be here today, you know, amongst friends from Buffalo, family, friends, people I've known and haven't seen for a long time, which is my fault. But it's just an incredible honor to be here. My only regret now is that we're not going to be able to do this every Monday night from 7 till 9 p.m. Joe, thank you.
Thank you.
There's so many awards on the band room wall that I saw. That I guess I was supposed to give you one, but Billy hasn't given it to me, so I guess we're not going to be able to do that. But we'll get. Oh, here it is. Oh, okay. I was trying to figure out whether there were the 5 C's or the 4 C's.
Five.
Yeah, I thought it was 4, but I was wrong. And, you know, Dr. Solomon. But we've got a special recording of the greatest hits of the Sweet Home High School concert band, and we wanted to give Joe. There you are. I mean, you know, I was unique. Joe Shiflett, who was the football coach, would never let me come out and be in any, even though I was in the band and in the marching band, he'd never let me come out and be in any of the pictures. Jack Lyons used to get furious at me. Once we had to reschedule a JV game to go to Jamestown to like 10 in the morning because I had to come back and do some marching thing. So my picture's not in this, but I was unique. I think I was the only person ever in the history of Sweet Home to be in both the marching band and the varsity. So that's unique. But Joe, this is yours. It's one of many awards. Congratulations. But again, thank you. Thank you.
By the way, this conductor on this album is Mr. Michael Sullivan. Just wanted to point that out. Bill didn't have the guts to do it. Couldn't have the Jack Williams joke, so what's I'll keep that here for you, Joe. You play when you get home.
All right.
You still got a turntable, right?
Yeah, I do.
Oh my goodness. Okay, moving right along. The next gentleman who emailed me and said, "You gotta let me talk about this guy." This gentleman made a big impact in Sweet Home, and now makes a big impact in the city of Buffalo. So without further ado, class of '79, Mr. Ben Boyer.
Do we have the same jacket on? Thank you, William, for, I could say William because he's younger than me, for giving me a chance to speak. And thanks, Bill Glazier. I remember as a student, a younger student, how dynamic you were and how fun it was to just be in your presence and hang out with you when I was in band. So, I have this list here of a couple things I had to say about Mr. Baudo. First of all, the first thing is apples. I got to bring home some milk. Oh wait, no, that's my shopping list. That's sorry. No, actually, I feel really strong about the class of '79, and that's the class of 1879, which makes Joe Baudo about 150 years old. That's supposed to be really funny, but I guess I should check that with my wife. The class of '79 included some fun people, and it included Mark McGee on saxophone, and he was just brilliant as a student. And I really mean that. It included my friend Bernie Snyder, who's not here tonight, played very sax, and he had this Berg Larson mouthpiece that was a metal mouthpiece, Joe. I don't know if you got it for him or whatever, but he really could play strong on that. And of course, the guy we all emulated a little bit, besides Joe, was Andy. We all sort of wanted to be like Andy and tried to get better and better because of him. And it was just so fun. So Andy, thanks for being there in our class too. And then there's Karen Russo, who became a Niagara County educator. And there's also Bill Weiss, who was a great jazz soloist when I was a student there. And these guys were just my friends, and it was just so much fun. It was like they were playing and having so much fun. And then there was Tom Tate on trumpet, playing lead trumpet, was screaming like crazy. And we were just, and he's a professional musician these days, playing all over, and has a studio, makes his living that way. And of course there was Doug Schuster, and here's the story about Doug Schuster. I don't know if you noticed, I think it was over Easter, but one Easter we didn't have a rehearsal. So Doug had a rehearsal in his garage. I think maybe Andy conducted it, and it was like we cared about what you were doing, your process, so much that we all got together in a guy's garage and had so much fun trying to make the pieces better so that when we went to competition or wherever we were touring to, it was just, so thanks Doug for the garage, and maybe we could go later to that garage. All right, and then also,
Limit your own risk.
The tower. She might have been a year younger. And then Gary Altieri, I think you always called him Gary Altieri. I don't know if you remember that. That was a class of '79. And, you know, my freshman year, I was in your concert band and I was in jazz band. And watching Joe conduct us every day, Joe would break down the pieces of music into sections. And he would work on it, and this was like an event. It was exact, it was creative, and it was musical. He had a method to him that besides just being Joe Baudo was fun, he was brilliant at what he was doing. We as kids, we might not have realized it, but I sort of like the systematic approach, and just watching what Joe did with us, I think affected all of us. Because there's so many of us. The class of '79, there's like 1 million here, or at least 10. Okay. Other people from that class we've been talking about today, you know, Jack Pavilski, Paul Woes, and then other band directors who are here tonight, like Pete and Joe, your colleagues. I saw one of our famous vocal teacher from Sweet Home back there too. All these colleagues who care about you, and there's more of them. And some of us were your colleagues in Erie County, and you helped us. We watched you. I remember you coming to a school where I worked and coming to the jazz festival. When your son was a young kid, I remember judging him. But when I came up there, he stood up. I thought he was standing up to give applause, but I guess I was wrong with it. Okay. He just laughed or something when he heard you talk or something. I don't know. But anyways, Joe, I don't want to go on too long here, but there's something about what you did. It's motivational, and it had passion, and it was optimistic. If you didn't like something like, let's say you had some other thing going on with Mr. Solomon or something, it didn't affect you. It didn't affect how you taught us. It only helped us want to do more for you. And there's just such a great love that, you know, when I think about those years that I have for you, and I think we all do. And there's nobody like you. There's nobody. And we really, really just care about you. And that's all I have to say.
I have to go to the bathroom.
When you get that out, don't you use the depends thing, man?
I'm starting to think about them.
All right, so moving on to the career of Dr. Joe. I arrived at Sweet Home in '79. They kicked me out in '83. So England has become a very popular topic with a lot of people here. It's pretty much, we carry it with us. Joe had the guts to take this band there in 1982, 1986, 1990, 1994. I believe it started with, and there's a lot of athletic guys in here who will set me straight, but a guy by the name of Martin Charles came here to Sweet Home as a teacher from England, right? Am I saying this right, Joe?
Wales.
From Wales. And so in turn, Joe's drinking buddy went back to England, or Wales, and so it allowed us to go over to Wales to do this. And we took the band, the jazz ensemble.